So to talk about the engine, this is where I have a different opinion from the pre-production version. Okay, I'll show you the power delivery now. What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be the complete review of the Jawa 42 from my side. So I've been riding this motorcycle for a few days by now, and I have to say that I really liked it when compared to the day one, because when I took it on day one, I was riding in mud and slush when it was raining, and to be honest, I wasn't liking it in day one. And really slowly I was using this motorcycle in city, and I'm somewhere on the Hassan highway now. So yeah, I've took it to some off-roads, some good highways, bad highways, some bad roads. Now I have a lot many information to talk about, especially when compared to the things which I told in my first ride impression. With the pre-production version, I have few things which I'm contradicting now, so I'll tell what all things are there. So I have to tell that this is a small little bike which can be ridden by anyone who likes classic motorcycles. In fact, there used to be an age for me when I was young. I was very thin and I had that thing to ride an Enfield, but I was not able to do that. The reason is because Enfield, all those kind of classic motorcycles, has to be ridden by hefty people, and you should have some amount of strength to control that motorcycle. So I see a lot of potential in this motorcycle in that aspect. If you're a thin person and if you don't want a super heavy motorcycle to ride, which falls into the retro category, this one is for you. But let's get into the general details about this motorcycle. So this motorcycle has one of the lowest seat height. I'll just get onto the motorcycle and show it to you. So it's like flat foot on both sides with a slight bend on the knee also. So that means this is going to be a super comfortable motorcycle for short riders. And if I keep my leg like this, I can see that there are a lot of leg space. So taller riders also have leg space, but the problem is like you have the foot peg coming over here. So if you are a tall rider, go and take a long test ride, because you might feel a cramped feeling if you are in this riding position for a long time. And the riding posture is also very nice. You have a very wide handlebar. I'm really liking it. And say this is my normal riding stance, I'm just leaning forward a bit to hold on to the handlebar. So that means that this is not completely upright, but a little sporty, and that adds a little charm when you ride this motorcycle. A lot of super bikes going on. Okay, let's come to the point. So that's about the seating and the handling. And as I told, if you don't want a super heavy motorcycle, this is for you. One another reason is if you're riding in city and you have a lot of hard traffic to manage, then this one is very good. And taking a U-turn and all those things on this motorcycle is not a big deal. That means it's super light and super easy to ride. So to talk about the engine, this is where I have a different opinion from the pre-production version. So when I rode the pre-production version, I felt that it has enormous amount of torque in the bottom end, especially in the first and the second gear. But on this motorcycle, I feel that they have done something different. They have retuned the motorcycle, so the bottom end torque is not so impressive when you compare it with the pre-production version which I rode a couple of months back. But still, this has good amount of torque. But I'm telling that compared to that one I feel like you leave the clutch and the motorcycle just jumps off like a horse. So on this one, I'm not feeling it. And to be honest, there is a slight knocking in the bottom RPMs when you are in second gear. So in that sense, I know that it's not a great torquey machine in the bottom end, but once you reach the mid RPMs, it's like super powerful. It can do a 0 to 100 in no time. It's like one of the best 300cc motorcycle. It can easily surpass a 250cc motorcycle that you see in the road now. But after that, the engine actually diminishes. So it comes with 6-speed gearbox. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these gears are like super pumped to get you to the 100 km per mark. But after that, the 6th gear is like too much lethargic, and it feels like it is a very lazy guy. Like once you reach the speed of 100 and you put onto the 6th gear, it takes a really long time to get into the mark of 120. The max I topped is somewhere in 122 or 125, I don't know. I'm not liking the 6th gear, but all the other 5 gears are like just beautiful. It is short gearing and you can just shift and go to the 0 to 100 mark. So that's it with the power delivery. And if you're coming from a scooter background, this is going to be wonderful. There is nothing freaking power about it. you have all linear. So once you hit the mid RPMs, you'll get to feel that okay, the motorcycle is powerful. Otherwise it is much linear and much forgiving. So definitely we'll go for a round. I'll just talk few things about it and I will go for a round. So when you get onto the motorcycle, let's see what's there in the handlebars and all. So it's all basic. So the motorcycle comes with a key over here and the handle lock over here, so you have to get used to this kind of a system. So in the beginning it will be a little difficult for you. Here you have the on and off key, and you take it out, put it over there and lock it. So it's a little bit of hassle, but you will get used to it. So on the handlebar you have the kill switch, ignition, high beam and low beam, indicator, horn switch. Nothing fancy, everything basic. And looking onto this instrument cluster, everything is basic. So you have a unconventional way of a speedometer where when the speed goes high, the needle goes low. So that also you take a little more time to get used to the system. And you have the fuel meter. Half of the time I found that that's not showing the correct thing, but it is okay, at least it is there. And there will be a total odometer. So very basic. There is no side stand indicator, no side stand warning, or no heat level indicator. So it's very basic from that angles. I see a lot of improvements on this. So the ABS is blinking. That means that it comes with a single channel ABS, and this version has a disc in the front and a drum in the back. So to talk about these mirrors are not giving good visibility. I have to say that it's small and it carries a lot of vibration. In the sense, I can see a lot of vibration on the mirror, but I don't feel that on the handlebar. That means the mirror quality is not so good. Maybe you put an aftermarket mirror, or when Jawa comes with a new mirror, you can go for it. Otherwise, I don't see much vibration, so much disturbance with the vibration to the handlebar, but I can see that on the mirror. So since I have talked about the vibration, so this motorcycle has a little vibration issue when you really go to the top end. That means when you really hit the red line RPMs of this motorcycle, you will get to know that. Seriously, I don't know what all RPMs that I'm going on, because there is no tachometer in this. So definitely when you ring out the throttle, you can get a slight amount of buzz on the foot peg, a slight amount of buzz on the handlebar, and very less vibration on the seat. So to talk about the seat is actually wide and it is comfortable, but the only one thing is I would like to see a little more comfy seat, because this is wide and it is really nice. I've been doing a 150 kilometer by now, but it's superb. If it had a little more cushion, then it will be super. Anyway, the seat height is not so high, so you can afford to have a little cushion on the seat. So when the seat height is low, obviously your ground clearance is low, so you have a little bit of ground clearance issue. If you're riding solo, that's not a problem, because I ride with my pillion at times. Combinedly our weight is somewhere around 120 to 130. So in that case only I have seen ground clearance problem with the potholes and the humps on the road. Otherwise no problem. And the suspension is very good in the front, little average in the back. So what I feel is that front suspension is acting like a super comfortable thing, which helps you to take all the bumps and the unevenness on the road. But rear suspension is not like that. Along with that, with a little harder seat, I can feel all the undulations on the road on my butt. Otherwise, like, no problem. And it comes with MRF tires. I'm not so much impressed with it. You can corner it well, no problem, but it lacks wet grip. That I have to say that, because a few days ago I was riding in rain and there was less grip. I'm a little scared about it. They are tube tires. It will be good if Jawa brings in tubeless tires for this model. So let's go out for a spin. Yeah, I didn't talk about the headlight. So it's a normal conventional halogen lights coming in. I have to say that not always the white lights are the good thing for your motorcycle, okay? So what I feel is that the headlight is giving good visibility in the night. So I don't see a solid reason for you to go for an aftermarket LED lights or something. Seriously, the headlight quality and the beam that it is giving is really good. Oh man, I forgot to talk about the exhaust. Okay, let's fire it up and I'll show it to you. So the exhaust has a really peculiar sound. When you are on the motorcycle and when you're riding it in some mid RPMs, you'll feel like that old ESD. If you're standing outside the bike, you can hear a very throaty and a bassy exhaust. It is really nice. I have to say that the downshift and everything is like awesome. You have a pure exhaust note video coming in. Wait for it. Let's fire it and see. You can do moderate off-road on this motorcycle, because if you're riding solo, then not much of a ground clearance issue. But if you're riding with your pillion as well as you wanted to do some off-roads, definitely it's going to be a little difficult. Yes, of course, nobody wants to do that intentionally, but in our Indian conditions, you don't know when you will hit a bad patch of road. so that time the ground clearance is a bit of a problem. I'll show the power thing that I told it to you. So this is in first gear. I just put it on the second gear and I'm leaving the clutch, and see that, you see that knocking? I really don't expect this kind of a knocking from a 300cc motorcycle. This is the same scenario that you see in a Honda CBR 250R, but not this bad, okay? I was owning that motorcycle some time back. It didn't knock this much bad. Yes, it has a low end torque issue, but not like this. But definitely I have to say that this motorcycle is much faster than the CBR 250R in 0 to 100. Okay, I'll show you the power delivery now. That's what I told. The first 5 gears are very energetic to pull the motorcycle, but the 6th gear is like a spoiler in my opinion. And this motorcycle is not like a high-speed cruiser when you compare it to a Mojo, because I think Mojo can easily do a 120 or 130 without any effort. But on this motorcycle, cruise speed will be somewhere from 80 to 100. So if you are riding on this motorcycle on a highway, then 80 to 100 is a decent speed. And if you are riding in city, you have to just maintain that mid RPMs. If you go into the lower RPM, you'll get pissed off a little bit, I have to be honest. And many people ask me about the heating issue on this motorcycle. So I have to say that it heats up a little bit. I don't have any problem regarding that, because no heat is majorly coming onto the rider's body. It might touch the calf area a little bit. I mean, touching in the sense the heat air is coming and touching the calf area. Otherwise, there is not much of a heating issue that I see with this motorcycle. The radiative fan is a little loud, and it makes that typical sound even when you turn off the motorcycle. And the one major place where I feel that there should be an improvement on this motorcycle is the gearbox, because the gear shifts are a little hard. I don't mind, because if you are wearing a shoe like this, then that's not at all a problem. You can do that. With the chappal, obviously you will be facing a little difficulty in shifting. But the problem is I was getting a lot of false neutrals in between, especially shifting from 4th to the 5th and 5th to the 6th, and combined with harder gear shifting, I feel like I have an average feel about this gear shifting. And you might be thinking that the chain might be loose or the chain is not good. I just checked it. I checked it myself, and I took it to the technician and I checked it. So the chain is not loose. It is well lubricated also, and the motorcycle came out from service some days back. So in that sense, and it's a very new motorcycle. It has just ran 2,800 kilometers. So in that sense, gearbox is like okay-ish for me, and the clutch feel is a little tight. But the thing is, the clutch play or the clutch action, the amount of clutch play that you have is not too much on this motorcycle. So when you have a tighter clutch and a lesser action, definitely it's not going to hurt you. But if you have a longer action and a tighter clutch, then you'll be having a little difficult, like the KTM 390 series. Riding it in the city is not a big problem on this motorcycle in that sense. So in this motorcycle, it comes with a disc brake in the front and a drum brake in the rear. So the front disc brake is giving a decent bite, no problem with it, but the rear one is not so great. So if you are planning to buy this motorcycle, I'll suggest you to go with a double disc variant which comes with dual channel ABS. That'll be a nice combination to have on this motorcycle. So if you're planning to buy this motorcycle, one main thing you have to look for is the maintenance of this motorcycle. So this motorcycle has to go service once in 6,000 kilometers or 6 months, and as per Bangalore showroom, service cost is somewhere around 2,800 rupees. It can vary from 2,500 to 3,000. So I'm talking about the paid services, and you will be getting a mileage of around 35 to 38 as per Jawa. But as per me, I was getting somewhere from 25 to 30 in city and 30 to 35 on highways. I don't know why. The on-road cost of this motorcycle is 2,05,000. So let's come to the point that who all can look onto this motorcycle to own. So in my opinion, if you're someone who wanted a truly looking classic motorcycle, you have this for you. And I didn't talk anything about the paint quality. I told that in my first ride impression that I'll be talking about it. On this motorcycle, the build quality and the paint quality is excellent. I'm really happy about it. So let's come back to the point. So if you're looking for a superb looking motorcycle, I have to say that in some angle it looked like a Harley Davidson or an Indian motorcycle. Only thing is that the headlight is there, but I think You can change the headlight if you want to, anything that you like. So in that sense, this is a retro motorcycle which is very light. If you don't want to go to the Royal Enfield Classic and all those kind of cruise motorcycles, then this one is for you. So if you're gonna use it in city and you have a lot of bumper to bumper traffic, no problem, you have to ring the throttle a little bit in the mid RPM so that you can push it always, and definitely you're gonna enjoy filtering it. It's not at all a big deal to filter on this motorcycle. And if you're gonna use it on highway, then this is a moderate tourer. If you want to see a touring review about this motorcycle, I'll be uploading it soon. You can wait for it. You're gonna do some off-roads on this motorcycle. I feel that you need to have a different handlebar setup, because once you stand on this motorcycle, the reach towards the handlebar is not so great. So on this kind of a rod type handlebar, you can always change the handlebar and go for an aftermarket one which gives you comfort based on your height. So be a taller rider, shorter rider, or a chubby rider, lean rider, this motorcycle is for you, no doubt in it, no doubt in it. And I'm so much happy riding this motorcycle. I have to tell that in the day one I was not liking this motorcycle because of the reason that it doesn't have a gear shift indicator. This thing is a little bad, and the clutch feel and the gearbox, I wasn't so much happy in day one. But over the days I got used to it and I started feeling happy about this motorcycle, and I'm really loving it now. So hope you liked this review and hope it helped you. In that case, as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.